Hello, welcome back to another episode of Holt and Talks. I'm your host, Scott Acton, joined today by Jamie, and we are absolutely buzzing. Aston Villa 3-0 winners on the night, 6-1 on aggregate, and into the quarterfinals of the Champions League, mate.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I would have been saying that when we were watching the odd cabbage here and there getting thrown at Steve Bruce. But yeah, man, it's just surreal. Just playing like PSG. Like, oh man, it's exciting. It's so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, we would never have dreamed of it, would we? Let's be honest. And the whole time we've been going, well, never in our lifetimes. Maybe when I was a kid and you would have been a baby, but we were good then, but not like now. It's just you who would have thought it? And PSG, I don't know if you watched last night, but I was hoping it would be PSG. I really didn't want to play Liverpool, but it's a hell of a tie that now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I watched the game last night. Why did you prefer? Why would you have preferred to play PSG instead of Liverpool?
I just think if you're playing Liverpool would have felt like a league game, and I think if you're in Europe, you want to be playing big European teams. So for me, I just think, do you know what? Let's play PSG. Um, I watched both of the games, PSG Liverpool. PSG are really good. Like let's
Mm.
you know, they're quick. They get around the pitch well. They move it well. I think they're lacking a natural striker. Um, but I just feel, yeah, it was just my personal preference. I'm not sure if we could have beaten Liverpool over two legs. Would
Yeah, I
would
think.
would also have been my thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing. Obviously, I watched both games as well. Um, I was saying, so obviously the old man isn't as knowledgeable on teams nowadays. So he was asking me about what's what, and I was like, going forward, they're unbelievable. They've arguably got the best player in the world at the minute in Dembele. I think he's averaging a goal every 50 something minutes.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, to your point about a nine, they have an out and out nine, like a lone striker, but he's on Gonzalo Ramos, but he doesn't start
yeah,
because, like he says, that front three of Kvaratskhelia, Barcola, and Dembele have just been firing on all cylinders. So yeah, their rotations in the middle. I don't know if you noticed about that as well. Again, we'll get on more to that when we do a PSG preview, but. Overall, I thought the way that Unai sets up, again, how we saw in that first half today, how he sets up, I feel like against PSG would play into our hands a lot more than, like he says, Liverpool over two legs will be very hard. But PSG, if you're within a goal, even maybe two, and you're going back to Villa Park, anything can happen. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Obviously, we'll talk more about PSG when the game gets closer. Um, just touch on tonight. Um, I mean, the first half was, let's make no bones about it. It really kind of just put a flattener on everything. It was, you know, Bruce started well. Villa were okay. I mean, we didn't really do anything. And obviously the red card comes, and then I think everyone felt a little bit comfortable. Then, um, were you expecting us to go like that?
I didn't expect us to be on the front foot. I did expect us to sit back a bit more, not as much as what we did, because I must admit that first 45 minutes was arguably the most boring half of football I've ever seen from a Villa team. But, out of possession, I actually thought we were superb. I mean, that's the boring stuff. Defensively, out of possession, we were doing really good. And even before they went down to 10 men, they had a lot of the ball. But again, just, we had we just had the two banks of four. It was like, okay, yeah, we got this. So you got to break us down. Um, and yeah, just overall, first half was poor in terms of offensively, but defensively, I thought we were spot on. Hence why what I was saying regarding the PSG game. Yeah, some I think like obviously I think someone put in the chat about how you got it might have been you actually about getting the goal, which I agree with. You get one goal, then especially with 10 minute kills them off. But even before that, the first goal is what matters most. And I said like how Unai would set up, which is how he's done in Europe before, which is why he's so successful, is that he sets up for the occasion, however the scenario plays out. If we were, for example, if it was 1-1 or if we were losing 1-0, he would have gone with a completely different approach tonight. I just feel like we're very good on transition, so so his mindset is, well, they got to come at us, they have to, no matter what. And I think we noticed that with their left back pushing really high, and Soles was basically tucked in as another striker, so they're gambling on their left hand side, and he was probably thinking, well, try break us down, which he had faith in, which they couldn't do, and then try catch them on the counter. But like I said, the bit I struggled with was offensively. I just didn't think we offered a lot in that first half. Yeah, defensively we're top.
Yeah, I mean, another clean sheet's a good thing as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, 100%, yeah.
it's not really troubled us, but clean sheet's a clean sheet, and when we've not had many, I know we've had more in Europe than we have in the league, but just good habits to get to. Um, we'll just we'll go to the second half. I mean, he makes a change. Is Ollie? It looked like he picked up and knocked in it, so no point in any taking any chances. Kamara maybe a fitness issue more than a tactical issue. I thought just because obviously he's coming back from injury again. There's no point in. I mean, we don't know if that's true or not, but no point in risking him if just to get a few more minutes in his legs. Obviously, Asensio comes on and literally, I just love him already. Every
Yeah, I mean,
touches just turns to gold at the moment, doesn't it?
yeah, we've gone about him a little bit more. Like we spoke about him a lot, haven't we? And he just provides that class, like that movement for that first goal tonight. I mean, it was a superb ball by Bailey, but that movement was superb.
Even his initial movement, though, I think when he gets it off, Conta drilled the ball through the lines.
Mm,
He gets it on the half turn. Then obviously the move carries on. There's another 5-6 passes where you take it right back to them. Even him getting it on the half turn and just managing to find the space just creates space for everybody else.
yeah, I feel like at the minute it's very much since the Sense and Rashford have come in and the Sassy, etc. It's been very, in terms of how we set up in my head, it's been very rush, 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 not with how we built up whatever, just the setup because you got a Asensio that predominantly plays in the middle, yet you got Rogers that, in my opinion, needs to play in the middle because if I'm honest, I thought he got the assist for the Matson goal, but again, I just thought he was quite poor again tonight, and it's just out. He just doesn't centrally. He's much better than what he is out wide, and you saw again tonight. McGinn was central. He was out on the right. I feel like with a full pre-season, hopefully, if Asensio was to come back on a permanent, which I put in the chat, didn't I? The talk is of there's 15 or 16 million euros fee. They're talking about at the minute. If say for example we get Asensio, if given a full pre-season, I back Unai to try and find a way to have it so in possession they are like two tens and it's not Rodgers hugging the chalk like he had been in recent weeks. The touch on Kamara had was one booking away from missing the next
That's
round. Yeah, him and Rashford were both on because they carry over from different competitions, whether it's as long as it's across the board UEFA. So because he was one booking away, obviously, from being with United in the Europa League, so that carried over to the Champions League. So both of them were one booking off. But yeah, obviously that's why he's taken Boober off because obviously the only way Bruges would have got anything out of tonight off going down to 10 men was on transition. And when you foul someone when the opposition's on transition, then 9 times out of 10 it results in a yellow card because they've got so much grass to go into. So yeah, that again, it could, like probably was a fitness issue. To come back from injury. But then also the fact that is, he is if he gets booked, then he misses that leg in
Yeah,
France, and
big player in that game.
yeah, I mean, if I could pick one player to make sure he's a guarantee in that game, if it isn't Martinez, it's probably Kamara.
Yeah,
Um,
as an outfield player, yeah, 100%.
yeah, defensively, except like he's top. Um, But yeah, no, the game of second half obviously started. I thought we had a better urgency. Don't know whether that was with Rashford being swapped to going through the middle and just the change we made at half time. I don't know. I thought Bailey looked good when he came on. He looked sharp. But yeah, no, second half I feel like we had different urgency about us. And as soon as we got that first goal, yeah, it was just yeah, it was handy. And just having that, even like we've played a game, so obviously our players are going to be more tired than if they weren't to play a game. But it's handy, not going into the 120th minute mark, not doing all that, the mental strain, the physical strain, putting in, kilometers after kilometer after kilometer is very much like you know, just play it about it was like a training exercise, really, that second half.
Yeah, we managed the game well, didn't we? Yeah, I thought Bailey did all right. Lovely little ball through for Asensio for his goal.
Oh
Good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Asensio, I know I put it in the group, but I find that the big difference at the moment between Rodgers and Asensio is Asensio's timing of his runs into the box. You think most of his goals have been a cutback goal, arriving on time. He must have, that's, 3 or 4 of his goals have been like that now. Timing of the run, first time finish, bang, goal, hit the target. He could have had a hat trick really if the one hit the post had gone in, which he was unlucky with it.
He was
Too good.
already running towards the corner.
He was on the way, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, just what a player. I
I
mean,
think I think that's the difference, isn't it? When you have someone who's 29 years old, won multiple Champions Leagues, three I think he's won,
yeah, agree.
compared to obviously, again, this is nothing on Rodgers, but a 21-year-old kid who was in the Championship last year. You
Yeah,
know, you know, hopefully in time Rodgers gets that understanding and that movement off of the likes of Asensio.
yeah,
But it's the same thing when you look at we have so much talent in our team right now. It's like, you know, Rashford with his movement. I've noticed in tonight his movement. It didn't always come off. Obviously, the movement was good for the red card, but a lot of times he didn't get the ball. But his movement was spot on, and it reminded me of runs that Ollie would make. And I don't know if that's maybe something that because Ollie movement off the ball is one of the best in Europe, best in the world. So to have him to learn off. Like maybe Rodgers can learn that aspect off of Asensio. Maybe Rashford can learn that off of Watkins in the sense of the off the ball movement. Because tonight he made a lot of good runs tonight, dropping deep into areas and then also spinning. Um, yeah,
yeah, yeah. We'll just touch on Rashford. No, good performance. I mean, not that the first 90 minutes that he's done.
first
Um,
90, did you say?
yeah,
Um, Cardiff. What about Cardiff? Did he come off against Cardiff?
potentially. I feel in my head I had that as his first 90, but he was really unselfish for Asensio's second goal. And look, other players in that position would have just gone for on their own. But thought he played really well. Good runs. Just looked in confident mood. He needs a goal. He does need a goal, but keeps chipping in with assists. Then Holton will be happy.
Yeah, I feel like obviously for confidence, obviously you'd want to go, but I don't feel like it actually bothers him because if he was that desperate, we've seen like what other players in the team are like when they're in that. Like obviously Ollie being the main one. If that's Ollie in that position, you imagine a go for goal like he did in the first half of the halfway line.
Oh, let's
Sure.
shocking.
I don't know what less spoke about it better. But I don't think it bothers him. To me, he looks like he's playing full of confidence. He loves it. I don't know if this is hopefully I'm wrong with this, but just something I've kind of noticed recently is that he definitely seems more of a home player. But we had a similar thing with Bailey last year, that Bailey would only ever score at home. Last
Mm.
season, he never scored away from home. Obviously, he got a couple, but he'd always only ever score at home. We were like, well, Bailey's useless away from home, but like, when he's at Villa Park, he's mustard. And again, I don't know if that's Rashford. He gets loved by the fans, and that's what he's needed because he hasn't had that for so long at United. He, once he gets that, it's like, oh God, like, this is who I am. Like, I don't know what it is, but just again, hopefully I'm wrong. Just something that I've noticed is that him at home is completely different to him away from home. He just seems a lot more confident. And again, he's not poor away from home, but I think it's that he's so good at Villa Park.
Yeah, it's feeding off the crowd as well, isn't it? I think. Um, you know, I mean, and you think the Palace game, obviously everyone was terrible away. Brentford,
Mm.
he didn't start, did he? When he came on, he couldn't really get in the game. So maybe he needs to start against. I don't know who our next away game is, but um, yeah, Preston, I suppose, in the FA Cup it'll be, won't it?
Yeah, that's Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of tonight, it did all right. We've obviously got a bit of a gap now, haven't we? So just nice to see people like Powell coming off the bench, getting minutes. Kamara, Nana was back on the bench, I think, wasn't he? So squad seems to be coming back. Hopefully now have a little break. I know there's internationals, but we can you know attack the last 8-9 league games and both quarterfinals with a fully fit squad.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on with Ross Barkley. I think he's obviously, had his leg amputated or something because it went from being the smart, like a mind, like Unai said in his press conference months ago that it was a minor injury, and he just every time he's not ready yet, he's not quite ready, he's not quite ready yet. So hopefully in this 2.5 weeks break we got, Ross can come back. And not
Social media, someone.
what's that? Sorry.
What did Barkley say? It wasn't. He said that it was on. He replied to a tweet or something, didn't he?
Yeah, it was originally something to do with his knee, I think, and then it became something a bit more, but not to do with his knee. It was another body part. But it's basically he's fine, but it's not as simple as what everyone thinks, if that makes sense. Hence why obviously he's been out for so long. But then he posted a picture of him training, didn't he? Couple of weeks ago. But again, I don't know if he's had a reoccurrence. I'm not sure. But yeah, hopefully if he comes back, like he says, Onana, Buba, Torres, but it's even the likes of like Rashford, Asensio, and like Disasi. These players that have come from clubs that they haven't been playing. It's so key. Like obviously they got game time on the weekend, game time tonight. It wouldn't surprise me again if we see either a friendly being done or like a behind closed doors sort of thing. Because obviously clubs usually do them and then no one knows about them, and then you just get a journalist like tweet after saying, "Oh yeah, behind closed doors with X, Y, and Z," or like even there's a 21, even there's a 23s game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Onana and Torres in that. Just to because post Preston, it's the games come thick and fast, and you're playing Prem games midweek, you're playing Champions League games midweek. You win against Preston, you're then playing a semi-final on the weekend. That game you're supposed to play on the weekend, the Prem game, that then gets moved to a midweek, and then all of a sudden, those PSG quarter-final games, that they're within the week of each other. Then you've also got a Prem game the week after, a Prem game the week before, and yeah, it's the only thing. It doesn't really matter, to be fair, because I was about to say the only thing that you can kind of hope for is that one of those games that happens midweek would be like a Southampton away or something like that. But then again, I still think we're not in that position where we can just be like, oh yeah, let's just change half the team, because in the Prem is so. Well, you saw with Liverpool on the weekend that I saw well, I don't know if you can call it a stat. But it was that Liverpool changed three of their starting 11 from last night against Southampton, and Paris Saint-Germain changed their whole team. And it's just the luxury that, I mean, it's the luxury that other teams have. I know the leagues like the FA um, doesn't support clubs in Europe like other teams do. Like when we played Ajax, for example, last year, sorry, Olympiacos last year, they had like their game got cancelled on the weekend. The game, like we're playing them on the Thursday, their game got cancelled the weekend before. So it gives them that full like week and a half prep because they want to see them do well in Europe. Obviously, England's schedule's so mad, especially if you're one of the top clubs competing on three or four different fronts. Um, but yeah, I think it's key to get these players back. So, again, when Preston comes around, you're not looking at Pau Torres and thinking, oh, you're not quite ready yet. Like, if you can get in an under 23s game and a behind closed doors friendly in this 2.5 weeks' time, that'll be so vital.
Yeah,
And, if we, again, I'm not expecting to, we can dream. I'm not expecting to play um, go to France and pop them off the park. But, if we're, again, within a goal or two, Mings has been man of the match for the past few games. Again, he was superb tonight. But if you're at home against PSG and you're 2 goals down, you probably want Torres playing because in terms of progression, like progressively with the ball, yeah, Mings is our best defensively in terms of in the air and blocks and interceptions, etc., and putting his body on the line. But if you need a goal, if you have at centre half, you'd want Pau Torres because you look at all the goals he set up for us. That Duran goal against Bayern Munich. Only he could out of our centre halves we've got available to us. Only he could pick out that sort of ball. He's the only one that's going to play that ball. So, like I said, when these big games come on and come up, we need players like Torres and again Onana to be ready. When PSG rolls around, Onana has to be ready because if it wouldn't surprise me if they go with like him and Boober in the middle and Tielemans ahead.
mm.
Just as we're away from home because they're literally two out and out sixes. You know,
We just need to stay in the tide.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, obviously we'll be there at the home leg, even if we get bad like 4 or 5 nil. But it's just if I believe if we were like within the 2 goals, we'll be all right. But then again, it's what McGinn said post match. He said the interviewer, I don't know her name, but she for TNT, I can't think of her name, but she said like, oh, you're looking forward to PSG, like you've been with the club since from the Championship all the way up to now, you're Champions League quarter finalist. What does that mean to you? And he said it means a lot, but it's always the next game. And he was like, Preston's the next one. He said we're one game off Wembley.
Yeah,
He was like, that's massive, and it's true. It's like you beat Preston, which isn't going to be a rollover. You beat Preston, then all of a sudden you're looking at Champions League quarter final, semi final of a FA Cup at Wembley, and then who knows what can happen in the league. And it's just it's exciting times ahead. It's just Unai's perfect at this, but he would be saying, look, take it one game at a time. Let's not focus on PSG. Let's not focus on Man City away or Newcastle at home or who we could get in the semi final. Like, scrap fuck all that. It's all about Preston. Do you
yeah,
know what I mean? And then we do that, and then that's our main objective, and that's what he'll be working towards these next couple of weeks.
yeah, yeah. Like you just said, it promises to be a exciting time of the season. I mean, if you had said to me at the start of the year we'd be in the quarter final of the Champions League, quarter final of the FA Cup, and what are we, eighth in the league?
Yeah,
You would have 100% taken that. I'm still going FA Cup. I think we can beat PSG over 2 legs. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I'm putting it out there. One the FA just so Dad's seen it once. in his lifetime. Champions League semi-final. Oh, just imagine.
Again,
The
okay. Listen, I'm not. Again, I'm literally being the biggest hypocrite right now because I said take it one step at a time, right? Again, we'll go into this a bit more detail on other videos, but just throwing it out there, right? At the
yeah,
moment, at the moment the Madrid game's going on. It's in extra time. I don't know. Obviously, I'm with you. I don't know what the score is, right? Whoever
yeah,
wins that game plays Arsenal, right? If we beat PSG and somehow Arsenal, I don't think they'll be either of the Madrid sides. But let's say they do, Arsenal over two legs in a semi-final.
is
I
when
gem is 100% winnable because this isn't the Arsenal team that were free flowing start of season that beat us 2-0 at Villa Park. This is again this game will be played in like 6 weeks time, but this isn't the same Arsenal team. I would back us to beat Arsenal over two legs. And then I was thinking about it, right? You think about that. If you can get to that position, it's highly unlikely, but if you can, there's a final there.
well,
That's just,
you're only games away from a Champions League final.
oh.
You're 4 games away from a Champions League final.
But how crazy is that to say?
Oh no,
How,
I mean, if you can't dream about these things, then what's the point of supporting someone like Villa? Do you know what I mean? It's not. It's
yeah.
we've got a dream, and I mean, we in our both of our lifetimes, we've never been in the quarter final of a Champions League. So if we can't get happy and dream a little bit, then we're never going to be able to do it.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Like, these are exciting times.
We've got a cup double, FA Cup win, Champions League win against Barcelona in the final.
European Super Cup will win that. FA Cup Community Shield will win that as well.
I just think, yeah, let's just lap it up for tonight. We've got a little break now, so everyone will be watching the highlights of tonight for a good couple of weeks, and hopefully when we get back to it, we can put a performance in against Preston and get into the semi-final of an FA Cup. But like I said, let's all go to bed dreaming.
Oh yeah, like it's just like me thinking of it now. Like I don't know, man. It's just again like my head is just scrambled because I think like PSG are like they're now. I don't know if you saw earlier. After obviously, even though they won on penalties, that first leg against Liverpool was an absolute demolition job. Like how they didn't get
Best
through.
the team that I've seen this season. Like watching them, I just thought the energy, and like we'll do a proper preview on them.
Yeah,
They are some team, but
but
the only will to combat that is they didn't start off great in the group stages.
that's what I was gonna say. Like you have to remember they had to go through the playoffs. They didn't.
I don't know where they finished exactly, but they were fairly low down.
Yeah,
Because I see Arnie Slot being a baby again, saying it's a bit unfair that they had to play PSG, but Arnie Slot, you're a knobhead.
they. Oh we don't like him on there, do we?
No.
But no, it's they played Brest, didn't they? They won 10-0 on aggregate.
Yeah,
But like they didn't even finish. 'Cause I don't know if you remember, they started off very bad. I know they picked up as they went on, but they started very bad. Because I remember there was a thing about how City, PSG, and Real Madrid were
but
all outside the playoffs.
that's why they were so low down in the table because
No.
but listen, anything can happen. You
Oh,
know,
100%. Yeah.
Villa Park will be absolutely rocking. All we got to do is stay in the tie, but um, we'll do a good in depth preview before that comes around. Um, we'll wrap it up there. We'll probably we'll do something in between now and the Preston game. Just a bit more of just a general chat. We better send our well wishes to Aaron and his bad back. He's not feeling
Oh,
too good.
bad back. Yeah, he can't sit in a chair to talk to us.
Um, yeah, and we'll just play it out with the Champions League theme tune, shall we? For a few seconds.
Yeah, that's good enough for me. Yeah,
Keep the dream going, mate. Up the Villa.
out the Villa.